C. I'll start from here only, that modern or modified periodic classification. As I told you, Rutherford's periodic classification was based on atomic weight. At that time, atomic number was not known. So that's why he classified elements on the basis of atomic weight. But in Mendeleev's periodic classification was double layered. It was like that, double layered. Although it was based on atomic weight, and modern classification is based on atomic number, but what statements this Mendeleev made was accurate from each and every point of view. It was double layered only, now it is single folded. Without making any changes there in the order of elements, just everything, what order, what sequence of elements, what properties, what position Mendeleev predicted, everything was right. But it was based on atomic weight only, not exactly atomic number, because it was not known that time. But rest everything, the order of the elements, their position, their properties, prediction, everything was 100% accurate. It was so correct classification given by Mendeleev. But in modern or modified periodic classification, mostly discovered atomic number, and this modern periodic classification is based on atomic number. So how you will give a statement for this? Periodic properties of the elements are periodic function to their atomic number, and this atomic number was by mostly. So we will talk about atomic number, atomic weight, everything, and I think in some basic concepts of chemistry we discussed about this too. And as I told you, long form periodic table was given by Range, Bohr, Werner, and Bury gave this long form periodic table. Bohr classified elements into normal C. This and this group of elements or block of elements is normal or typical or representative elements. These S and P block elements are normal, typical, or representative elements. Who classified this S and P into normal, typical, or representative? This classification was given by Bohr. So according to Bohr's atomic model, Bohr's periodic classification, S and P block elements are also known as normal, typical, or representative elements. These are D block elements, group number 3 to 12. These are D block elements, and these D block elements, he classified them. He grouped them as transitional metals or transitional elements, because these are placed in between S and P block. That's why are called transitional elements. And the F block elements, which are placed here and this place, lanthanides and actinides. These lanthanides are placed here, and these actinoids are placed here after this actinium. So these elements are placed there inside the transitional element. So it is known as F block elements are known as inner transitional elements. What about these elements? These elements are known as zero group elements. As I already told you, there at the time of Mendeleev, zero group and F block elements were not there. So laterwards, scientists added zero group over here and F block elements over here without making any changes there in the order of elements. Just these two groups externally, physically, or without disturbing the main body, these two group or block of elements are added laterwards. These are zero group elements and these are F block elements. So S and P block elements are known as normal, typical, or representative elements. D block elements are known as transitional elements. F block elements are known as inner transitional elements, and zero group elements are known as inert, rare, noble gases or aerogens. Now see here, this is alkali metals. This is alkali metals. This first A group is alkali metals, or you can say first A group elements. These elements are called alkaline earth metals. Second A group elements are called alkaline earth
metal.
These elements are transitional elements. These are zero group elements or aerogens or inert gases or rare gases or noble gases. These blue colored block is known as halogens. These elements are called halogens. I'll explain you why these are called halogens or this all. This orange color, this orange color strip is of metalloids. This orange color strip is of metalloids. See, all these elements are having same color, but this second B group, that is zinc, cadmium and Hg, is having little different color, darker color, because is not true transitional element. Is not true transitional element. That's why they have different color. So we'll be talking about this all, why it is not a true transitional element. That also will be discussing.
Yes, sir.
So here this all is given. So many things we discussed there. They are in 12 points also. So we won't be discussing it here again. Now
yes,
see here: hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium. This is atomic number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Calcium is 20. So as you move from left hand side to right hand side, with the increase in atomic number, Z is considered as atomic number. Now you won't be talking here about atomic weight because it is modern periodic classification, so that is based on atomic number. So this is atomic number. Z is always atomic number, and with the increase in atomic number, there will be regular, gradual change in periodic properties of the elements, physiochemical properties of the elements. So that is. See, this helium is inert gas, this neon is inert gas, this lithium is first A metal, sodium is also first A metal. So here there is repetition of properties. Here there is repetition of elements having similar properties. That is called periodicity. Means after a regular interval, there will be repetition of electronic configuration. There will be repetition of physical and chemical properties. That is physiochemical properties. So that is what the meaning of periodicity is. Now see, if element is there, they are in a group. For example, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. If they all are there in the same group, electronic configuration of this lithium is 2,1, this is 2,8,1, this is 2,8,8,1, this is 2,8,18. Just we need to check it.
18,1.
Fine. We need to check that. So see, in the last shell, all are having same electrons. Number of valence electron, if group is same, then the number of valence electron will also be same. Since the number of valence electron is same, so their chemical properties will also be same, because chemical properties depends upon, no, not physical, chemical, because chemical properties depends upon, chemical behavior depends upon the electronic configuration, and electronic configuration there in the valence shell is same. This is 2s1, this is 3s1, 4s1, 5s1, 6s1, 7s1. Since all are having s1 configuration, they are in the same group, that is first A. So therefore their electronic configuration is same, therefore their chemical behavior, their chemical properties will also be same. Chemical properties are governed by electronic configuration. Chemical properties are governed by electronic configuration. Since their electronic configuration there in the valence shell is same, number of shell is different, but the electronic configuration there in the valence shell is same, so their chemical properties will also be same. And as I yesterday stated this, see, this point is very, very important, because in different books you will be getting this different. This is A group, this is also A group, and this group of elements is called B group, and this lanthanides are there in third A. There is no, sorry, third B. There is no question of A or B or any group. This entire F block is placed there inside the third B. Just remember, third B group is the biggest group. Third B group is the biggest group. Scandium, yttrium, lanthanum, actinium. Scandium is 21, 21 plus 18, 39 plus 18, 57 plus 32 will be 89. These 4 elements are there in third B group, and these 14 elements and these 14 elements total 28 elements. 28 plus 4, that is approximately 32 elements. All these 32 elements, that is approximately 30% or 25% of the periodic table, that is only there in one group, and that group is third B. So third B group is the biggest group. Entire F block elements are placed there in the third B group. And other than these 28 elements, scandium, yttrium, lanthanum, actinium are also there in that third B group. So total altogether there are 32 elements there in the same group. So it is the biggest group of the entire periodic table. So it is the biggest group of the entire periodic table. Now see, as I told you, S and P block elements are A group elements and D block elements are B group elements. So this classification that S and P group elements are A group element, S and P block elements are A group elements and D block elements are B group element, this classification was given by North American. So it is known as North American system. But there is one more group of scientists who classified this S and P block elements as B group elements and D block elements as A group elements, and that group of scientists is that system is known as rest of the world system. So according to rest of the world system, S and P block elements are B group elements and D block elements are A group elements. And according to North American system, S and P block elements are A group elements and D block elements are B group elements. Generally, this is what it is there in your books. But in some books, instead of A, you can get B also. So there we will get confused that it's printing mistake. No, it's not printing mistake.
A and B represent what?
See, A and B, they have classified on the basis of their properties. They have classified them into two groups. What these two groups are? A and B.
So it means S group, S block and P block have same properties.
Many properties are similar. Not exactly, no two elements can ever have the 100% same properties, but many of them are.
Yes, sir.
We discussed that S and P block elements are usually colorless, white or light colored. This is one property in which they are same. S and P block elements do not show variable valency. S and P block elements do not show variable valency. This is also another property in which, see, someone's screen, there is noise, so please tell them to not make noise, please. So many properties are same. On that basis, you have said that S and P block elements are A group elements. Fine. C. What I was thinking to explain you, but because of this disturbance, I lost it. Fine. What I was trying to tell. C. Yeah. C. My screen is visible now?
Yes, sir.
Whiteboard is visible? Fine. This is a periodic table. See, when I was a student and tried to draw this, I was not able to draw it. But now even 6th, 7th students can draw it very easily. This is S block elements and this is P block element. This is P block element. This is D block elements. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now here it is F block elements. These are F block elements. These are lanthanoids. These are lanthanides and these are actinides.
Actinoids.
This is first A. See, in S, how many electrons can be accommodated? 2. So that's why you have written 2 groups only. In P, how many electrons can be accommodated? 6. So you'll be writing here 6. 1,
So 6.
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In D, how many electrons can be accommodated? 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now you will be writing here group number. You need not to write group number 1, 2, 3. See what you are writing. You are writing British Indian numeral. You are writing Arabic numeral. Whenever you will be writing group in Arabic numeral or British Indian numeral, it will always be group number. It can never be group. So this is group number because it is written there in Arabic numeral or British Indian numeral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. These are group numbers. Now see, we'll be writing group. It is in Roman numeral, so will always be group. You need not to specify. See, if you have written like this, then what it is, how you will be reading it, how you will spell it out, how you will spell this?
Group number.
Group number 17. Yeah, who said this, Mesha? Who said group number 17? Astha, lot of disturbance is there from your side, Babu. Tell them. Group number 17. Mesha, you said that this group number 17? Who said group number 17? Okay, fine. So group first A, second A, third A, fourth A, these are groups. Fifth A, sixth A, seventh A, and this is 0. In old books, this you will get as 8th group. No. In old books, you will get this as 8th A group. But in modern system, it is 0 group, not 8th A group. Now see, here you left at second A, and there from here you started with third A. Now here what it would be? Third B, fourth B, fifth B, sixth B, seventh B, 1, 2, and 3. These three are 8th group, not 8th A, B, or C. It is simply 8th group. This is first B, and this is second B. So third B, fourth B, fifth B, sixth B, seventh B, and then 8th group, first B and second B. So now in this way you have given specific names to all these different 18 groups. So whenever it is in British Indian numeral or Arabic numeral, will always be group number. But if it is written in Roman numeral, then will always be group. Yes, please tell me.
Sir, why this third is starting from third B?
Which one? That actually it is based on the electronic composition. Na? I told you, I told you this point now. So what question you asked me na? In that point, this answer is there. This is S block element now. So which electrons? Ns electron. This is Ns plus Np. So here, if you'll be asking me this question, why sir it is third A only? Because if you'll count, if you'll add Ns and Np electrons, there it will be 3 only. You asked me about this now. So what this is?
Sir.
It is D block element now. So D block element is Ns plus N minus 1 D. So the total number of this Ns and N minus 1 D electron will be 3. You can ask me, sir, why you have not given this as first A, first B, or second B, or fourth B? Why it is third B? Because the sum of number of electrons will be 3. So on that basis only you have given this, all these group numbers or groups. Fine. On that basis only you have given this number. So that's why I told you this formula is very important. Here also it will be Ns plus N minus 1 D plus Ns plus N minus 1 D, Ns plus N minus 1, Ns plus N minus, here it is Ns plus N minus 1 D plus N minus 2 F. So on that basis only you have classified elements. You gave specific names to all these different groups. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
See,
Yes, sir.
if you'll be asking me this question, why sir you have given this group, why you have written name for this group as 5th B, because in this scandium, titanium, vanadium, vanadium 23. If you'll write electronic configuration of vanadium now, what you will be writing? 4s2 3d3. See, 3 plus 2 5 na, that's why you wrote here 5th B. 5th you have written because the sum of the number of electrons in this group is 5. Which electrons you are talking about? I am talking about ns and n-1 d electrons only. Fine. That is why this formula is very, very, very important, will be very helpful, not only in all these easy things, but will be greatly helpful there even in difficult things too, that you will enjoy there in chemical bonding, they are in hybridization, etc., or MOT, etc. So you should be well aware of this all. Is it okay? Should I go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
These first A
Yes,
group, why I wrote this table, why I took this table, because I was about to discuss regarding variable valency. As I yesterday told you that D block elements show variable valency. Why they show variable valency? Because their ns as well as n-1d, both subshell takes part there in the bond formation. Why these elements are called, why these elements show variable valency, why D block elements show variable valency or variable oxidation state? Because there not only ns electrons will take part in the bond formation, but their n-1d electron also takes part there in the bond formation. What about the s and p block elements? In case of s block elements, only ns electron takes part there in the bond formation. What about p block elements? In case of p block elements, only np electron takes part there in the bond formation. But in case of D block elements, it is ns, n-1d, both subshells electrons will take part there in the bond formation. And what about the F block elements? They are ns, n-1d as well as n-2. F subshell also takes part there in the bond formation, means their valence s electron, penultimate d electron, and anti-penultimate or pre-penultimate f electrons. Electrons from all the three subshell will be taking part there in the bond formation. That is why D and F block elements show such a large number of variable valencies or variable oxidation states. But S and P block elements do not show variable valency. S and P block elements do not show variable valency. So instead of saying do not show variable valency, what one word you can use for it? What one word? This is, you have written there in English, but you have to write in chemistry. So how you will be writing this? S and P block elements show what type of valencies? S and P block elements show what type of valencies? Astha? They do not show variable valency. So then what type of valencies they can show? Non-variable valency? No, this is not chemistry, this is English. Non-variable valency, fixed valency, or constant valency? No, this all is English. This all is in English. So in chemistry, what you will say? Group valency. S and P block elements show what type of valencies? Group valency. See, this is there on the very first page of NCERT, P block elements. This is there on the very first page of P block elements chemistry. They are in NCERT, but nobody knows about this, that what group valency is. See, the valency of hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, this all will be showing valency 1. Since the all elements there in the same group is having same valency, so it is known as group valency, means entire group is having same valency. See, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine, they all are having valency 1. So that's why they show, no, valency, Babu, can never be minus or plus. Valency is simply the number. So it can't be -1, it will only be 1. That is charge, that is oxidation number. Fine. So Mesha, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mesha, is it clear? Harni, is it clear? Harshni, sorry. Harshni, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So S and P block elements show group valency. What's the meaning of group valency? Means members of the entire group will be having same valency. Members of the entire group will be having same valency. This is what the, so opposite of variable valency is group valency. Opposite of variable valency is group valency. See, if I'll be asking you what is the valency of oxygen, then what will be the answer? What is the valency of oxygen? What will be the answer?
Variable.
Pardon? Mesha, you were saying something?
The variable valence.
No, I am not able to hear properly. Valency of oxygen is 2, but if 2 is not given, if 2 option is not there, then what other option they can provide you?
Group valency.
Group valency. So if it is 0, if 2 is not given, then obviously there must be group valency. So this I was trying to explain you what the meaning of valency is, or what the meaning of variable valency or group valency is. Now see, we'll continue the same, previous one. So as I told you about B and A group elements, fine. So now this all is over. So groups are from 1 to 18. Groups are from 1 to 18. Group number 1 to group number 18. Now see, this magnesium is a bridge element. This magnesium is considered as bridge element because the properties of magnesium is lesser than zinc, that is second B, and greater than calcium, that is second A. So magnesium is a link between second A group element calcium and second B group element zinc. Fine. So property is this ionization energy of calcium,
yes, sir,
is lesser than magnesium, and zinc is having more than magnesium. What about the ionic radius? Ionic radius also of magnesium is lesser than calcium and lesser than the zinc also. So magnesium is having average of the properties of second A and second B group element, that is calcium and zinc. So that is why it is considered as bridge element. What about the typical elements? Typical elements, third period elements, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine are true representatives of their groups. First A, second A, third A, fourth A, fifth A, sixth A, and seventh A. So, and to summarize the properties of the respective group. So see, as I wrote there, hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. True representative of this group is sodium. True representative of this group is sodium. Na belongs to entire group, not lithium, in terms of properties. Like that, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. So there, chlorine represents the means third period group elements. Which group element, which period elements? Third period. So sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, all are third period elements. So third period elements in true sense represents the property of their own entire group. So that is why are called typical elements. Fine, that is why are called typical elements. Now what next is long form of the periodic table or Moseley's periodic table. See, square root of nu is equal to a into z minus b is equal to z minus 1, and nu is equal to z minus 1 whole square. So what A is proportionality constant, B is constant for all lines in given series of X-rays, and Z is atomic number and nuclear charge. Nu is equal to C upon lambda, or you can say C is equal to nu into lambda. Velocity of light is equal to frequency of light into wavelength of light. So all these points, this formula we should remember. this is first shell, this is first shell, this is second shell, this is third shell. First shell, second shell, and third shell. So in first shell only 1s, in second shell 2s and 2p, in third shell 3s, 3p, 3d can be there. So see what the meaning of core charge. Here I am trying to explain you core charge, nuclear charge, core charge of magnesium. Magnesium is having how many electrons? 12 electrons. Suppose
12 electrons.
12 electrons. Now in the first shell and second shell, total how many electrons are there? 10 electrons are there. So what will be the charge of this? This is core. This is core. This is core. This is core. So total protons in magnesium is 12, and here 2 electrons and here 8 electrons. So total how many electrons? 10 electrons. So core charge will be 2
10.
plus. Core charge, core means other than valence shell. Other than valence shell. Other than valence shell, valence shell is having 2 electrons. So rest of the part will be having 2 plus charge. So this is core charge of the magnesium, that is number of protons minus number of electrons there in the shells other than the valence shell. That is called core charge. Now see, now see as I already explained you this all, what about this one? Variable valency. Variable valency. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. See valency here. Valency with respect to hydrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Valency with respect to oxygen or halogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0. Now this we should know. Now I'll explain this in terms of that this table. Now in this table you can see with reference to hydrogen 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. With respect to halogen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. With respect to oxygen same. So you have to give examples in support of your answer. You have to give, see here, NaH, how many H are there with Na? 1. So Na is having valency 1. How many hydrogens are there with calcium? 2. So valency of calcium is 2. How many hydrogens are there with aluminium? 3. How many hydrogens are there with
3.
carbon? So like this, 3,
4.
2, 1. And inert gases do not have tendency to form bond with hydrogen or with any element. Now see halogen. How many halogens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. That is why valency of sodium, calcium, aluminum, carbon, phosphorus, sulfur and iodine is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what about inert gases? It is 0, because as we know, inert gases do not form bond with any element. That's why they are called inert, rare or noble gases. What about oxygen? With reference to oxygen, it is again here 1, here it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have to give examples in support of your answer. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. This already I explained there in 12 points now. So valency means the combining power of the atom. Combining capacity of an element is called its valency. Combining capacity of an element is called its valency. Now see, in case of atoms, electrons and protons will always be same. While in case of ions, electrons and protons can never be same. If electrons are more than proton, then obviously negatively charged ions and will move towards anode and will be known as anions. And if protons are more than electrons, then positively charged, so obviously will move towards cathode and will be known as cations. So anions or cations, all these ions you can, what you are targeting chemistry is each and every element tends to have 8 electrons there in the valence shell. That is what octet rule is. That is what the inert gas configuration is. That is what the noble gas configuration is. Fine. So each and every element, either by transferring or by sharing, anyhow, each and every element tends to have 8 electrons there in the valence shell, because when 8 electrons will be there in the valence shell, that state will always be the stable state, and every element tends to gain that configuration either by transferring or by sharing, anyhow, because that state is the most stable state. Usually those elements which are having 1, 2, 3 electrons there in the valence shell, they have the tendency, those, as I told you, number of valence electrons can never be greater than 8. Number of valence electrons can either be less than 8 or equal to 8. If valence electrons are 1, 2, 3, such elements are called metals, except hydrogen and helium. Hydrogen is having 1 electron in its valence shell but is not a metal. Helium is having 2 electrons in its valence shell but is not a metal. Hydrogen is a non-metal and helium is inert gas. So these two are exceptions. Since as I told you, each and every element tends to have 8 electrons there in the last shell, so this element is having 1 electron only there in the valence shell, so it will be having two options, either to make it 8, either it will be losing 1 electron or will be gaining 7 electron. Losing 1 electron is easier than gaining 7 electron, so according to law of energy conservation, obviously it will prefer the loss of 1 electron. Since it will be losing 1 electron, so will become 1 plus. If it will be losing 2 electrons instead of gaining 6 electron, then will become 2 plus charge, and it will be losing 3 electrons instead of gaining 5 electrons to become 3 plus. Since these elements are 1 plus, 2 plus or 3 plus charge, so these elements are also known as electropositive elements. So usually metals are called electropositive elements because they have the tendency to gain 1, to lose 1, 2, 3 electrons to become 1 plus, 2 plus or 3 plus charge. Now see, those elements which are having 5, 6, 7 electrons there in the valence shell will be known as non-metals, and to make their electrons 8 there in the valence shell, this element will be having option either to gain 3 electrons or to lose 5 electrons. So gaining 3 electron instead of losing 5 electron will be easier. So since it will be gaining 3 electrons, so will become 3 minus charge. This will be gaining 2 electrons to complete its incomplete octet to become 2 minus, and this will be gaining 1 electron to become 1 minus charge to complete its incomplete octet. In this way, these elements are either gaining 3, 2 or 1 electrons to become 3 minus, 2 minus or 1 minus charge. That's why these non-metals, these elements are called electropositive elements. So metals are all, electronegative elements. Electronegative elements.
Negative elements.
Electronegative elements. So